Hi, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of Round Robin. I am your host, Tracy Preston, along with Christine Mulligan, Nina Mulligan, Regina Lindsay, Angela Hafler, and of course, my husband, Todd Preston. Hey, everyone.
Hello. Hi, y'all. Hey. What's up?
Hey, everybody.
Well, guess what, you guys? We did it. We have hit our very first anniversary of doing the show.
Bravo! Bravo!
I mean, I know. We're recording, we record on Monday nights, and which is a day before our anniversary because it's actually tomorrow, but when the show airs, it's going to be the day after the anniversary. So we're hitting before we record, and it's going to air the day after. But either way, it's still our anniversary, and I truly cannot believe that we've hit a year. And I just have to say that it's been an amazing journey, and we've evolved like a bunch, right? So, I've been reflecting so much on the entire process. I've thought about doing the show for, I guess it was about 2 years. And Christine was right there with me. We're like, yeah, let's do this. And, I procrastinated because I guess I was just a little bit nervous because I'm like, I just have to pick a date and I have to go for it. So that's what I did. I picked March 4th, and here we are. So by now, everyone that listens to the show knows that I'm a nurse, Christine's a nurse, Regina's a nurse, and I didn't know a darn thing about podcasting. It's a whole nother world from nursing. So I knew that I love true crime, and I've loved it my entire life. And then I guess it was about 4 years ago that I started listening to podcasting, and I was totally hooked. My very first podcast was Crime Junkies, then My Favorite Murder, Anatomy of Murder, and then the list just goes on and on and on from there. I have a whole slew that I listen to, and I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know where to start. So thank the gods for YouTube so I could teach myself what to do. So when we started the show, we started with Malice. Then we added in Round Robin on Wednesdays. And in season 5, we kicked off F-Bomb. So from 1 show a week to 3. And with that first season, I had a generic theme song that at the time I thought was super cool. And then Todd and I were talking about, we need a new theme song. And so we put it out on Facebook to our friends to see if there's any musicians out there that were interested in doing a theme song. And then we got a hit from Alan Hunt. He said, hey, I've got some music. And he sent it over. And I knew immediately that the song that he had written and recorded was absolutely beautifully haunting, and it was perfect for the show. And not only has Alan given us our theme song for Malice, he's also given us a theme song for F-Bomb. And I can't thank him enough for the beautiful music. So thank you so much, Alan.
Yeah, thanks, Alan.
Yep. And, doing all the researching and writing and recording and editing was so much more work than I could have ever imagined. And I was burning the midnight oil for sure. I've got a full-time day job, and I just really didn't know what I had gotten myself into. And then one day I got a message from Angela, and she said, hey, if you need any help, let me know. And I jumped on that offer so quick, you have no idea.
Yes, she did.
Yes, I did. And I'm so thankful for you, Angela, for reaching out, because you've written some amazing stories, and you've really helped relieve some of that pressure, because it was a lot of pressure. And then after that came along Rebecca Hires. And, she's got a real affinity for these really old historical cases. I've never heard before, and I know a lot of people haven't. So I'm thankful for Rebecca as well. I mean, shit, there's so many people that I have to thank. So let's get all that taken care of, and then we can just, have fun like we always do. So Todd Hun, thank you for supporting me in every step of the way, and thank you for all the artwork that you do for all 3 shows on the weekly. Not only are you doing the artwork for the shows, you're also doing promo artwork, and you just rip it out like it's not a big deal, but the artwork is beautiful and I love it. So thank you so much. And then there's my bestie, Christine. Always there for me. We talked about it, hashed around about it, and she has been there for me without fail, no matter what. So thank you, Christine. I couldn't do it without you. And then we got...
Of course you couldn't. And I wouldn't be me if I didn't remind you. Of course you can't do it without me.
I know. Right? And then we've got Nina. She's really, I think, stepped out of her comfort zone with doing the show and joining it. So thank you, Nina, for your quick wit, your savviness, and your dedication to the show. And, there were some episodes earlier on when we started Round Robin where you were just really raw and shared, which to me takes a lot of bravery. I know I couldn't do it with some of the things we talk about. So thank you so much. And then there's Regina. Regina joined us after we did the Brett Coster show, and her quick wit and her insights are just spectacular. And I'm just so thankful to have this tribe around me, around us. It's been a journey, and I'm super proud, and I just feel amazing. But last but not least, we certainly have to thank you, everyone, for listening. I'm just so eternally grateful that you've tuned in and that you keep coming back and listening, and people are jumping onto YouTube and they're commenting and they're sharing. And it just really warms my heart to communicate with our listeners. So thank you all so very much for helping our show to grow. And we are growing, and we're not going to stop. So thank you to everyone on the show and for all of our listeners. So that's what I've got.
Thank you, Tracy.
Aw.
Thank you for all that you do, too. You put in a lot of time and hours and effort, and we're all grateful for you as well.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, where else could we all get together and just talk shit once? And put it online for people to listen to. Just saying.
Yeah.
It's a great outlet.
It is. Well, and we have some great moments. I know that we have a lot of laughs, and I know that, when we're done doing our round robin, I feel good. My dopamine is up. It just keeps us close together. It makes sure that we all kind of get together and talk. So I love it. And I love where we go.
Group therapy.
It is.
It's group therapy, dude. That's exactly it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best part about communities, all kinds of communities. You find your tribe and you vibe. I personally want to call us the Water Cooler Crew. Okay? Water Cooler Crew. That sounds badass, okay?
Okay. I love it. So do you guys want to hear something wacky?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So Rebecca, she has a couple daughters and a couple sons and all this, and her daughters, I don't know how old they are, and I don't know which one this was, but you remember we did that show about Brett Coster, right? So he's the guy who at 15 years old back in the 70s murdered 3 women along with Danny Rains. And the reason we did this show about Brett Coster is because a listener had said, hey, there's this stuff flying on Facebook right now. This guy is a convicted murderer. He's on parole, and he started a ride share. And I was like, oh my gosh. So we did the show, and it was mind-blowing. Well, Brett Coster is no longer on parole. I think that ended this January.
Yep.
And he's back to driving.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And Rebecca's daughter was a passenger.
Uh-uh.
Oh.
Mm.
Uh-uh.
Yes. And Rebecca didn't really get into the details. She just said that he was really creepy and that he was inappropriate. And she ended up pulling a knife on him and got out of the car.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm glad she was packing.
Mm.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So for anyone over in the Kalamazoo area, look up Brent Coster. Look up what he looks like now. And I don't know, because I'm like, wait a minute, because he started his own private. I'm like, is he driving for like Uber or Lyft? So I think he might be, which is frightening. So just everybody be very careful. I mean, the guy's got a colostomy bag, but still, he's still not right.
Not going to keep anybody from killing you, even if they got a colostomy bag.
Yep.
So I just had
shoot doesn't work.
right. Well, I just had this whole mental picture, y'all, because when I used to work at the county hospital in the ER, we had a patient it was called close observation, but it was psych patients that were overflow from the psychiatric ER. And I had a patient one night that pulled off his colostomy bag and slung poo all over, I don't know, 3 or 4 other people and the nurse and himself and everybody. So when you started talking about colostomy bags, all I had was this mental picture of the literal shit show.
Literally.
Literally a shit show.
That would have been good to tie in with last week's round robin, because we did a lot of poop talk.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, that is one of the downfalls about like hanging around with a group of nurses is like we can ruin any meal in like 2.7 seconds.
While we keep eating.
Yes.
While
Yeah,
we keep
without
eating.
realizing, though. We don't really
It's
we
pretty
don't
gross.
really mean to do that. We just don't understand what everybody else's problem is with blood, guts, spleen, and poo. You know what I mean?
But it's like you're not a,
brain, it's a little brain matter. It's okay.
it's fine. It's fine.
Dinner.
Some people are just so sensitive, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're not a real nurse until you're doing post-mortem care and bitching that you haven't had a break yet. You know?
Or
Which
pee.
is why some of us are not nurses and you guys
Exactly.
rock because you are.
No,
And you can handle
That's all it really is.
Yep.
Intelligent psychos, at least.
Exactly.
Well, yeah.
So, kind of looking back at the year now, I know we kind of touched on this a little bit when we did, when we hit our 100th episode, but I'll start with you, Christine. Out of this last year, what was kind of the thing that sticks out to you the most out of doing the show? I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be a specific show. Is there anything that you want to talk about?
Is there anything I want to talk about? That feels like a loaded question. But as far as the show is concerned, I don't know. Like I told you from the start, other than, in true executive fashion, I said to you, other than all the editing and stuff, how bad can it be? It's like literally our phone calls. We're just scheduling them now. And, oh, by the way, recording them with some friends. But, I mean, these were the conversations you and I have been having for, what is it now, like 13 years?
It's been a minute.
Yeah. So these conversations, they're just conversations. I'm just talking to my crazy ass bestie. All her cockamamie morbid crap. Scary stuff. I'm just listening to my bestie vent her stuff, I hear you. I'm here. But I'm just chilling, talking on the phone, Trace. So all of our conversations are memorable, my love.
Aw, I know. Our friendship is awesome. I love it. And I'm so happy that true fashion, just like anything, if you say you're going to do something, you do it. And I love that.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of cool. But that's the point, That's everybody should be doing that. Say what you want to do and go after what you want and figure out and find your joy, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I agree.
Whatever makes you happy, go for it.
Yeah.
And how fucked up is it that her joy is talking about murder? Just saying.
I know. That's what I said. My bestie's a little crazy, but I think that's why I love her. She's fucking bananas. She's twisted. She's a certain special kind of twisted, but she's also, a really piece of gem. So,
Yeah, she's right.
yeah,
Right.
she's right.
Right.
She's got a sick mind, but she practices kindness.
That's right. See, I've got that. It's definitely the yin and yang because I've got the nursing, trying to figure out what I can do to help everybody. And then I've got this other like crazy interest. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people.
There's a lot.
No, clearly not. I
And-
mean, we're all on here doing this with you. I'm just, I think sometimes talking about these things and trying to dissect it and figure out what makes people tick and why people are so jacked up, it makes us all feel a little less messed up ourselves. I
Right.
don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, and I think that's the thing too, because I just try to wrap my head around it. And I think I've talked about this before. I mean, if I have to kill someone, I will kill them in defense of myself, my children, my friends. Absolutely. Of course, I've never been in that situation, but I don't think I'd hesitate. I really don't.
Nope.
But to just plan it and plot it, like that whole psyche, that's what's intriguing to me the most. Why would you do that? And I don't think I'll ever figure it out.
That's definitely the thing where I meet you at, is seeing other perspectives from a whole new reality that really wouldn't ever become a perspective of mine because I'm not anywhere near their realities. But when we learn about their backgrounds and all of that, and you paint a picture of what it was like, or we can superimpose what things were like for the timing that happened with all of the knowledge that you research to find out about these people. It's like we get to see a whole reality of someone from a complete perspective that we would have never gotten to in our own minds.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hella interesting.
Yeah. Well, like you've got the Ramsey Scrivo story. That woman just lost her shit and killed her son and chopped him up in pieces and tossed them in bags. What? How? I mean, like, I don't understand. I can't figure that out. How you go from a normal person to murdering your own child. Ugh.
Well, there's definitely some snapping that happens.
Yeah.
Definitely some snappage.
I don't know. I think there's a couple of times I'm like, you know what? I could think of a couple of times. I mean, I'm glad that you were blessed with angel of children, and perhaps they never pushed your buttons quite like mine does. But there are times where I'm like, say it one more time. Say it one more time.
Mama's ready to pounce.
But that's also, to be honest, very candid and vulnerable with you. The reason why I never spanked my children is because I was fearful I would not be able to stop. So I recognized in myself that I have enough internal rage that when rage is unleashed, it's not going to be pretty. So
You're going to snap.
I kept myself purposefully for doing that for that very, very reason.
I had a very similar moment, and my daughters are not angels. They make me lose my shit. Every parent's, I think, their kids make them lose their shit. And if they say they don't, they are lying. Lying.
Yeah, but the big difference is nobody actually murders their children.
No.
Well,
So
some people do.
We can get to that mental space, but we can't cross the line. It's a line that she obviously crossed that the rest of us are in shock and awe. And we're like, what in the actual...
She's like, today's the day, you son of a bitch.
I totally get where Nina's coming from, because there were times when I was not convinced that my daughter and I would both survive her adolescence. I thought for certain that she was going to be dead and I was going to be on death row. Like, I just knew it. And I still tell her all the time that, my grandchildren or the universe rewarding me for not murdering her when she was a teenager.
I actually had a moment with my oldest daughter, and I'm like, my hands went out to the neck. I could feel that that's where I was going. And I remember I've never been so mad at her. And I just remember I could feel myself shaking because I was holding myself back. I'm like, Tracy, you cannot go for your daughter's neck. So then I cocked my hand back, and then I was holding my hand back. I'm like, Tracy, you cannot hit your daughter in the face.
You can't choke her to death, and you can't punch her in the face.
No. So I feel you, Nina. Like I have that rage. Like I think if I got started on something, it would be real hard to stop. When you're in that headspace, you got to have the wherewithal to not go there.
I totally agree, which is why, well, actually, when we were up seeing you, we went to one of those rage rooms, and she just thought it was a hoot. She was just laughing at me, getting so rageful. She's like, babe, I'm worried for you. What is going on here? And I'm like, yeah, no, this is exciting. And I'm like giddy. I'm like next level, just laughing my ass off like the Joker. And she's like, wow. She's like, wow. I was like, yeah, no, this makes me feel very powerful. Because at 5'2", who am I standing up to? Nobody. So the only thing I got is my mouth. And while my mom gave me lots of shitty advice, she always did give me the advice is, you need to watch your mouth, Nina, because one of these days somebody's going to turn around and stab you. And I have taken that with me because it is true. It is absolutely true, which is why I keep my mouth shut. But this year, it's see something, say something. But only if somebody's like being injusticed. You know what I'm saying? If there's injustice going on.
Is that a word?
It is now.
Well, the wine says so. Yeah. Only if it's an injustice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not because somebody forgot ketchup on your hamburger. Like, just get over it. Get the to-go packet and put it on yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, don't be that kind of person.
You got to choose which hill you want to die on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Die on the hill of humanity.
Yeah, I love the Rage Room. Todd and I did that, I don't know, before COVID we did it. And, you know, you purchase however many boxes of coffee cups and plates and vases and all that. It's like, man, give me 5. Let's go. Like, I feel ya. It feels good to whack the living shit out of something. It feels good to get that out. I love a Rage Room.
Well, I've never been to a Rage Room, but it sounds amazing. And I will say, though, that when I was in my 20s, you know, like when I first moved out of the house, because I grew up in one of those households, and I'm pretty sure Nina probably can identify with this because it's kind of a Southern thing, but I grew up in a household where everybody was allowed to be pissed off except me. And so my mom could throw things and slam doors and yell and scream and break shit, and so could my father. But if I slammed my bedroom door, somebody was coming through there to beat my ass and threatening to take the door off the hinges or taking the door off the hinges. And so when I moved into my own place, I was like, nobody's going to tell me that I can't be pissed off in my own fucking house. And I would break shit. It's like I would get pissed off and because I could.
Yeah.
It's my shit.
Right.
I was going to throw shit and break it.
Yeah, they're teaching you what to do, but then you do it and then you get in trouble. That's very hypocritical.
Right. Yeah. But, you know, that was just kind of the way I grew up. I learned to basically stuff it all down until you can't anymore. And, you know, it's been kind of a running joke until I got into like some serious therapy that, you know, I about 2-3 times a year, I would just lose my shit. And it would always be over something like really, really minor, but it was just the straw that broke the camel's back. It's like, I'm calm until I'm not. And then I'm psychotic.
Right. Well, it's because you're stuffing. I'm a swallower.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Whoa.
nasty.
Congratulations, Tom.
I'm a stuffer is what I mean. You know, I swallow and swallow and swallow and swallow.
I'm sorry. Are we bringing back the pegging thing? You just got pegged.
Yeah.
What? That's a year after that. Todd is fuming.
He's turning all kinds of red right now.
Oh, I am. My ears are on fire.
I bet they are. See, I can't see them because I'm in California. That's what I was doing all day. And I will tell you,
Out of the snow
yes,
with your Neanderthal ass.
yes. And I'm telling you, I thought I was gonna die on the plane. It was so damn hot. It was like an oven in that plane. And then I got out and like, oh my gosh, it feels so good to get off that plane. The air here is beautiful. It's 63 degrees when I got here today, and sunny.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now's where you fix what you were trying to say, and we take the sexisms aside. You stuff your emotions down. Is that what you're trying to say, Trace?
Yes, I have the.
Okay.
Yes, I stuff the emotions down, and then let's just take my sweet little Emily, for example. I've been telling you for weeks to do this one thing, and it just gets worse and worse and worse, and then it's like kaboom. There's a horrible sound that comes out of my mouth. I don't even recognize who I am, and I swear to God, I must scare the shit out of my children because I know I must look like a raving lunatic, but it's like if I don't scream at you, something bad is going to happen, so I have to scream. I'm a screamer. My mom was a screamer. I got to work on that.
That's TMI.
It's
Talk about her mom like that. I know, right?
But I think it's an occupational hazard too, because when you're in the hospital and you're dealing with life and death situations, you can't just react, and then it just kind of builds up. So we learn to sort of disassociate, and then all of a sudden, like you said, kaboom!
yeah,
It's like a nuclear bomb goes off.
exactly.
And the whole time I'm doing that shit, I know I'm irrational. I can, I'm like watching myself. I know I'm completely irrational, but I am powerless to stop myself.
Kind of. It's like a pressure release valve. I think it's pretty common for most everyone to have some sort of compression release valve. For Regina, it's sudden fits of rage. And for Tracy, it's sudden fits of screaming at the top of her lungs. I think everybody's got their thing,
What do you do?
because you got to release it. You got to release all that pressure. And that's why it's not good to stuff that shit down.
I know.
If you feel offended in the moment, you got to feel it, and you do. You have to keep it to yourself. And then go somewhere and process that fucking shit. Process it and figure out a diplomatic way to go back straight to the source and be like, boom, this is how this made me feel. How can we do better?
That's easier said than done, though. For me,
Yeah, it is.
at
It
least.
is. And I agree with that. But you got to practice.
Yeah.
You got to try.
And that's why lots of therapy helps. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah,
And I
I
quit
hear
breaking
you.
shit because when I was 20, I could break everything in my apartment. I was out like $25. Okay. Now, if I break shit, it's a little more expensive. So I don't break things anymore. But I've had to really, really work on that. And for a while, I had gotten really good at saying, sorry, when you say this or when you do this is how I feel. Not even saying that you have to change what you're doing, but I just want you to acknowledge that this is probably how I'm going to react and not name associate and yell and scream. But my previous marriage, that person knew exactly where the buttons were and went for them every single time. And I found myself crawling down in the gutter with him. And that's why, it was necessary to get out of that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. When your buttons get pushed, you got to learn how to pause them bitches until you figure out a way to process through why that button got pushed. Because, I mean, ultimately, right, isn't the ultimate goal is for all of us to be able to self-direct our realities? Like, you know, be around things that don't push your buttons is basically another way of saying just go and do things that bring you joy. I mean, it sounds so flippant, and I think it's annoying that it's such a flippant concept. But that's the thing, is you just got to keep focusing on yourself and accepting yourself and finding joy within yourself. And I feel like everything gets a little bit easier. And yeah, that's way harder than how simple it sounds.
Well, no, I know. And I say that all the time. It's like happiness is a choice. I mean, it sounds really simple, and it's very much an oversimplification. But what I've learned is that I can choose to focus on the things that upset me, or I can choose to focus on the things that bring me joy. And it is a choice. It's not always easy, but it's a choice.
Agreed.
I love that. And then it also leads into, once you realize that concept, then you fully understand the self-accountability.
You know, I keep saying to myself, I need to start meditating. I took, you know, I needed a 1 credit class, 1 stinking credit. So with that 1 credit, I ended up taking a yoga class, like a basic yoga. And where our room was, and it was just basic stretching, starting with your toes and just learning how to breathe. And right above our room, he had us all lay down and just really breathe and just listen to yourself breathe. That's it. He didn't even say, you know, give yourself some imagery. Just be with yourself and breathe. Well, while we're trying to be with ourselves and breathing, right above us was the gym at the college, right? And all I could hear, I'm like, okay, they're running back and forth. They're running back and forth. And then that turned into a thunderstorm. And I fell into a deep, deep sleep. I didn't hear the feet anymore. It just sounded like thunder going back and forth. And I was like, wow, because he must have said time's up or whatever. And I was like, okay, where am I? And it was just this simple thing of just breathing and really listening to myself breathe and how much that relaxed me. I think that was the most relaxed I've ever been taking that class. I loved it. So that's something I need to start doing. Just sit and breathe. It'll do your body good. Was it milk? Milk will do your body good. What was that commercial?
Milk. Yep.
Yeah, something like
Milk will
that.
do body good.
Yeah, that's a lie. Milk will kill me.
Are you lactose intolerant?
But I'm getting there. The older I get, the more intolerant I become to milk. To milk.
As long as
That's because our bodies are not supposed to digest milk after infancy.
Correct. I agree.
But what about cheese? I can't live without
other
cheese.
I love it and I don't
Either.
live without it. I just suffer through it. But if I drink milk or have a milkshake, oh my God, it's torturous.
Oh no.
It's downright torturous.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Hey, Christine. Can you say mozzarella?
Mozzarella.
That's awesome.
Listen, one time I was visiting Christine, and wasn't it McDonald's? Where did we go through that had the mozzarella sticks?
I don't remember, Tracy. What did I tell you about? The same thing the other day. I barely remember what I'm doing in a room when I walk in it. And you want me to remember these ridiculous instances.
Well, listen, here's the thing. I want to say it was McDonald's. We were going through somewhere and they had mozzarella sticks and you were like, and the mozzarella. And they're like, what? I think you had to repeat yourself like 3 times. You're like, oh, fuck it. Let's just get up there.
I'm surprised I didn't just say cheese sticks. Because like when I am anywhere outside of the tri-state area and I say mozzarella, they're like, what? I'm like, mozzarella sticks. And they're like, what? And I'm like, cheese sticks. Fried cheese sticks. Cheese sticks, thanks. Bye.
And don't forget the marinara. I don't know. I don't know why that that's probably a memory that I'm just going to carry around with me. And I'm not choosing to remember that. It just sticks with me. I just thought it was so funny.
Yeah. And you make fun of me for it all the time, but it was where I was raised. I cannot, it's very difficult for me to stop my brain and my mouth slow enough so I can say mozzarella. It's so much extra work for my face. I'm sure that some people can imagine how much my face is moving right now.
I can.
It's difficult. It's painful.
Enunciation. I know, it's a bit. Oh my God, how do you wake up in the morning? We have this conversation on the daily. I mean, between her and I, because she says, you sound country. And I'm like, no, you sound like you're from New York. And she says, no, I'm more Floridian than you because I've lived here longer. I'm like, bitch, you were not born and raised here. Get out of here.
Right.
Get out of here. Nobody, and I mean nobody, it doesn't matter where we go, ever think she's from Florida. They're like, oh, you fresh off the boat? You're fresh off the boat from the New York City? Yeah. She says a lot of weird words.
No, actually,
A lot of weird. She calls them cannolis instead of cannolis. Every time she says, I want cannolis, and the person says, wait, what? Because they don't know. That's how they say it up in Long Beach. Okay?
Okay.
No, we have, all the time between her and I, we have to decide who's saying it right. And it's never her.
Yeah, you're never going to associate Christine with Florida. And period, end of story.
Ever.
Hey, but people loving the accent.
I love her accent.
I do too.
I don't have an accent.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
It is so sexy. I
Hey.
feel like I'm dating the lobster.
She's married to the mob.
Exactly.
You just told so many people so much about you. So much.
She likes that dangerous lifestyle.
I'm Betty Boop, and you're my gangster.
Well, you know, it's funny because I'm, in my daughter's apartment waiting for her to get home from work. And, they leave the TV on for Marvy, who's their cat, which they just adore this cat. And my cousin Vinny was on. And all I could think about was you, Christine. The two you, what? Who? The what?
Two youths. Oh, I'm sorry, youths.
Well, what about you, Angela? Do you have anything about since you've joined the show that really kind of stood out to you this year?
I mean, besides getting to research and write for a subject that I love, like Tracy, I absolutely love it. I'm intrigued why people do things, what makes them tick, and all of that. I've also made a few new friends, and friends are always great.
Mm-hmm.
I've just really enjoyed being part of this, and I feel honored and privileged. It's just been an amazing journey.
Aw, well, that makes me happy.
Well, it's true.
I feel like I should make fun of you for something to make you feel super special, but I can't think of anything.
Well, I'm sure you'll find something.
I thought for sure that your new last name was going to be Hofler, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Everybody
But it's
does
not.
that.
Hofler.
Yeah, but Hofler
Yep.
would have been better because Hoe flower,
Yeah,
I-
well,
Call it as I see it.
Well, if Christine picks on you, it's because she loves you.
I don't mind at all. I'm used to it.
Christine
My
really
family's
loves
the
me.
same
She
way.
picks on me all the time.
Yeah.
True story. I
Yeah.
am toxic.
Well, if Christine stops picking on you, you should probably worry.
I'm like Christine's target. I'm
Oh,
easy
yes, you feel that way? Oh, no.
He's tender.
I'm so toxic. I can't take it.
Well, you know what cracks me up about Christine, though, is like she's such a smartass, and I think we connected on that when we first met, because I think I met you the first time in Chicago at that meeting.
Oh, yeah?
Then we get on here, and she's always the voice of mental health awareness, and trying to be so like sensitive. I'm like, who the fuck is this bitch? Like, I don't know her.
No, that's who I am, yo. That's who I am. I've been self-shrinking myself since I'm like 5. I've been a student of the world. I love meeting people and immediately diving into their psyche. So much so that some people, because I'm a lot. I mean, I'm sure everybody that's listening can tell I'm a lot. But I'm a lot in a good way if you know that I'm completely genuine and I'm completely honest. And yeah, I'm a wise ass. And yeah, I think laughing at everything makes everything better, probably to a fault, but laughter is definitively the best medicine. So yeah, I mean, I'm a lot. But the thing is I've learned other people's perspectives from many, many places by getting serious with them, by being real with people, completely transparent in all that I do, even the bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Complete transparency with me. It is what it is. And I'm going to say what I think, unless it's inappropriate. Then I'll keep it to myself and tell somebody later, like my bestie.
She's like, yo, we gotta talk. Like, okay.
And hundreds of listeners on this podcast,
Thousands.
I don't do it. I don't do any of that.
What did you say,
Kidding.
Tracy?
I'm kidding.
Thousands. Thousands. We're about to hit 11,000.
Are you serious?
Yeah, dead
Yeah,
serious. I'm sure we'll.
Oh, how awesome.
Yeah. That's the other thing I got to work on this year is, my next conquering my next fear with the show is video. People want to see things, so we'll get that figured out this year.
Just because I'm lounging in bed don't mean I can't have a camera on me. I just got finished telling you. Completely transparent.
I get that because I'm at a stage of my life where I'm kind of that way too. I don't really have any more secrets. Pretty much I am who I am. Was talking to somebody about that one time recently when I was in Oklahoma City. I was talking to somebody and we're having a conversation about, being transparent and being completely honest with, your partner, with your friends, with your family, with whatever. And I said, yeah, I'm at that point in my life where you probably couldn't blackmail me because I'm like, yeah, it happened. It's whatever. And he said, yeah, that he used to work as an interrogator when he was in the military, trying to develop assets in foreign countries, basically recruit spies. And he said, and I was their worst nightmare because if you don't have any secrets that you're keeping from anyone, then there's no leverage against you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I've been finding. And I'd say the last 10 years or so, I've been like, your kids start growing up and aging and they move out of the house. There's a lot of growth that happens, I believe, with women that become empty nesters and all that. Or whenever a child leaves, not even empty nesters, just the first child. That's when the growth begins. You're like, oh, damn, how am I supposed to sever this off of my sleeve and let it go free into the world? You know what I mean? So there's a whole mental thing that goes along with that pushes you to grow and pushes you to change. And that's when more transparency, the more transparent I became through that process with reaching out to people, anybody, and like telling them, like, listen, this is what I'm going through. I feel like I'm losing my mind. What do you think? Do you think I'm crazy? And the beautiful thing is I had all these people around me that with just me being genuine with them, they were able to be genuine back with me. And we formed a trust within that genuineness. You know what I mean?
Well,
and like Regina said, once you are completely transparent, nobody has any leverage on you because it is what it is. And you're being vulnerable and you're being open and honest. And it's easier to find joy and choose happiness that way. Because it's like, all right, I've been through some shit. Some shit happened. Let's face it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk it through. Let's figure out why I felt that way, why I wanted to not feel that way, and then not feel that way. Choose happiness. Choose change. Be transparent. Don't let nobody have no leverage on you. Be truly authentic to yourself. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, Regina, that's who the fuck I am.
Mhm.
You know, I want to go back to Christine's point about laughing, because laughing really it's a great medicine. It's a great medicine. And Tracy knows this. We live in DeWitt, and we have so many healthy people here. I mean, there's people jogging like nonstop. And I just learned that if you laugh for 2 minutes, you will burn just as many calories as you would jogging for 20 minutes. So I'm going to start sitting out on the porch, and I'm just going to start laughing at all the joggers.
I think that's great.
Oh my God, that's gonna be like a new series.
Sitting on the porch laughing at joggers.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Todd, actually, you just bolstered my theory on Tracy and I's friendship. The reason why she loves me so much is when we first started hanging out, we would laugh so hard together that this bitch would get dizzy and get migraine headaches after hanging out and laughing for so long. And she'd yell at me to shut up. And I told her to get her carotids checked. And because of all that laughing, her carotids were cleared.
That's true. And you had me so freaked out about it. I'm like, oh my God. Because then, of course, my nurse brain kicks in. I'm like, oh my God, do I have a problem with my carotids? Oh my gosh. And so my oldest daughter is an ultrasound tech, and she was still in school. And she's like, Mom, do you want to come in so I can, do an ultrasound on you? I'm like, hell yes. Can you run that over my carotids too, please? I had to come back and tell Christine, guess what? I'm in the clear.
No, but now Todd just proved to me that it was because I kept making you laugh that I made you fitter and your carotids cleared. I diagnosed it and then saved you simultaneously in one conversation.
I really think that the headache was just increased in her cranial pressure.
She saved your life. Caused the problem first, then saved it. That sounds about right. Thank you, Tracy.
That sounds about right. No, she didn't have to thank me. It was my pleasure.
And I'll do it again.
Of course, for all of our listeners, I'm wildly kidding.
Oh my God. Yeah, but the laughter you're not kidding about. I mean, oh my gosh, whenever we would travel for work or meetings, we'd always kick it in either your room or my room, and we would just laugh for hours. It was the best. And it's like that anytime we get together, so I love it.
And now we're sharing it with the world on your podcast.
Yeah, just like we said we were gonna.
Yep.
Yep.
You know what my favorite part was for the whole year?
What?
Is that I think we figured out science. Like, that's what I love about it, is that we talk about, the nursing part of it and the science part of it. And we pretty much figured out that, like, all people that kill people were dropped on their heads as children. I am being serious. We literally solved crime, y'all. we can stop it from occurring. It's definitely nurture. I do not think it is in the nature of people when they're born to be that way. We have solved it. It is people hitting their heads. And we need to recognize that this is a true thing. Like, because then it becomes a moral issue on our part as the society. Because if it is then truly because of brain injury, and then they are not in the right minds, then are they culpable for their crimes?
Okay, so wait a minute. Are you saying that society's new question to pose is helmet or no helmet?
Yeah.
Bubble wrap or helmet?
Walking around with a cushion on her head. Does a parent infant care? You turned to murder.
Yeah, but it's not just infants, Angela, because we have all the football stories too.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
There's so much linkage. There's so
You
much
guys ever
linkage.
see that?
Mhm.
You guys ever see that video where that kid's going down the slide and their head's hitting both sides all the way down? Serial killer.
The murderer of
Serial
the Macon.
killer.
Is that why they
The
don't?
murderer of the Macon.
Is-
Murder.
Is that why they don't make the metal slides anymore?
Probably.
Yeah.
I really thought it was just from the 3rd-degree burns that we all used to get as children going down there.
Todd, I fully expect some artwork that depicts the serial murderer slide.
He can definitely do
I'm
it.
just sitting here thinking about the fact that, the first athletic supporter was used about 100 years before the first helmet. So it only took men 100 years to figure out that their brains were also important.
I didn't come for Gina with the men hating science. I love it.
That's not man hating. I love men. I'm just saying that that's a true statement. I'm just,
No, I know.
you know.
I agree. Feminism. I'm all about it. It's a good chat.
It was a good chat as always. So
Yeah.
cheers to a year under our belts and cheers to many more years ahead. And who knows what will come up with this year? Videos.
Dun, dun, dun.
Can I have like, what are those filters? And can I be the lemon? I love that lemon face with the big eyeballs.
Oh, you think you're not going to show your face? You're going to be a character? Oh my God, that would be so funny for us to at least video one where we're all the emoji characters.
Oh, that would be hysterical.
Would be funny.
All right. We'll have to work on it. All right. Well, we're all going to be emojis. That's what's up next.
I'm a lemon.
That's it. I call the poop emoji because I'm the shit.
All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. Stick with us because you never know what's going to happen this year. So have a great week, everyone. And we will see you all back on Friday for F-Bomb. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye.
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 See you later.
Bye. Happy Malice Day.
Happy Malice Day.